reviewing and unboxing the Razer Kishi V3 Pro.
Noisy Pixel.
What's going on, nerds? Mark here, back with a new Noisy Pixel hardware review, and today we have the Razer Kishi V3 Pro. Thank you so much to Razer for letting me try out this pretty sick new looking handheld controller for your phone. Going to be USB-C, obviously, as it's the next gen version, the version 3. It's going to do iPhone and Android. It seems like it's going to do a little bit more optimization for Android, even though it says iPhone based on what I've heard. Anyway, this has the Razer Nexus game launcher, which is supposed to have very low latency connecting to your Steam and stuff like that. So I'm hoping this whole package is exactly what they say. So let's get this thing open so we can review it. Very tight tape on the bottom, but we're going to open it up, and there it is, the Razer Kishi V3 Pro. I like how it just comes right out of the box. You see the product right away. Immediate gratification. But this thing has a lot of parts, so let's go one by one. And my first impression of this is very durable. This thing feels like much better than I actually expected, to be honest. For like a mobile device, this thing feels legit. Very clicky buttons, such as like a PC mouse. Razer said it is exactly like their mouse products, so that does indeed feel like that is the case. I don't know how long those will last, if they're longer or better lasting, but let's try and open and close this thing up. I don't really know how to do that. It looks like there's like a rubber guard here. Yeah, so you take this little rubber piece off. There's one on the other side. All right, I mean, all I did was take off that one rubber piece, and now I can open the backbone of it, and that thing is massive. Like, look how big this thing is. Cool thing about the Kishi as well is you're supposed to be able to like put this with a case. So I'm just gonna like try that right now. All right, so I have my phone kind of in position. I'm trying to do it with the case. Okay, so you do have to take a second rubber piece off because I was having trouble. Anyway, second rubber piece is off. We're gonna open this thing up, try and put it on my phone with a case. And as long as you don't have a massive case, yeah, this thing fits no problem, I think. Oh yeah, it's in there. Can't really go wrong with that. I mean, look at that fit. That is a sexy fit, I must say myself. Let's not break this right away. You just have to be very careful removing it. Don't forget that there's a case there, there's more leverage, so I feel like this could easily break in the wrong hands if you're not careful with it. But anyway, let's quickly finish this unboxing, closing it out with like other spare parts. You have some other spare rubber like covers for what the gaskets or whatever you want to call them, to make sure the device doesn't open or close, kind of like holds it in place in a way. Looks like each one of these rubber spare parts are labeled with a letter, so I mean, I don't see a manual, but I guess there's a QR code somewhere that could be scanned for a manual, and ideally those parts would line up with something. In the box, you also have these two spare thumbsticks because it's not a Pro controller unless you have removable thumbsticks, apparently. So you do have a flat top and a rounded top, with the flat having a textured exterior, such as the default. The default sticks are the flat with the texture. So you do have only one spare rounded thumbstick. Let's take all this out so to make sure there's nothing else in this box that I'm missing. Take the two sticks out, and let's see if there's something secretly hiding underneath. Yes, there is. It's not my favorite layout. It's kind of secretive. It almost seems like they wouldn't have something under the box, but under the phone, but here we are. They do throw in some stickers. Here is your Kishi manual, which we probably need in this case. I'm just curious about the rubber and the letters. Are they labeled? I would imagine they are to some degree, yeah. They have instructions of what they are here. 3 pairs of interchangeable rubber cushions. I guess the rubber cushions are so you have a better fit if need be based on your phone, but based on my case, it fits pretty magically with just the default setup without the rubber gaskets on at all. It wasn't really fitting without them. Thank you so much for watching the unboxing section of the Kishi V3 Pro. Very excited to try this out and review it. This has been Mark. Noisy Pixel review coming up next.
My only experience with mobile controllers before this was the original Kishi. After a few years, the sticks started drifting, and some buttons would get stuck now and then, and you can still find the original for about $50 on Amazon, but hearing that the Kishi V3 Pro was going for $150, I was very curious and honestly excited to see what it offered. Let's get into the review. The Razer Kishi V3 Pro features 2 clickable magnetic resistance analog thumbsticks with swappable caps, a Razer Mecha tactile D-pad on the left, and XYAB face buttons on the right, utilizing Mecha tactile switches as well. Additionally, it includes extra L4 and R4 claw grip bumpers and M1 M2 rear paddles for increased input options that are completely customizable. The new thumbsticks feel incredible, and obviously it's too early to know if stick drift will ever be an issue, but they feel sturdy enough to handle the abuse I put controllers through. I have heavy fingers, so thumbsticks usually don't last me too long. The XY/AB buttons and D-pad have a satisfying click when pressed, and I really like the L4-R4 claw grip bumpers. Their placement feels natural, and they're the only quote-unquote extra buttons on a controller that I've actually used consistently. The back paddles have a sharp mouse click feel that's nice. Even though I don't personally use them, I could see others finding them very useful. The grip design deserves credit too. It stays in your hand really well, and my hands are very sweaty. And with something like an Xbox controller, there are moments where it can slip out of my grip. Gross, I'm aware. But with the Kishi V3 Pro, I really never had this issue. Even with sweaty hands, it stayed comfortable and secure. One underrated improvement is how this Kishi V3 Pro has enough space to hold phones with cases still on them. The original Kishi forces me to remove my phone case every time, which was a pain. It's a small thing, but it makes a big difference in day-to-day use. Another thing I appreciate is the haptic feedback. Playing Cyberpunk and feeling the rumble while shooting or in hand-to-hand combat added to the immersion. For mobile gaming, that level of feedback isn't something I expected. Because the build felt so solid, I wanted to try it on PC as well. Ergonomically, it's a little odd without a phone attached, but it's surprisingly comfortable. It plugs in via USB-C and works instantly as a controller. Even without a phone clipped in, it feels generally good. I tested it with Rocket League and was impressed at how capable it was. The input response was fast with minimal latency. The only nitpick is the placement of the USB-C cable. When resting my hands on the desk, the cable can get in the way a bit. It's avoidable, but it's worth mentioning, otherwise it felt great in my hands and stayed pretty comfortable. Without the weight of a phone, it's even lighter and more enjoyable obviously, and I honestly found myself preferring it over my Xbox controller during PC sessions. What started as a curiosity test turned into me consistently reaching for this controller. The Razer Remote Play setup is another highlight. I tested latency by streaming Rocket League using both Steam Link and Razer Remote Play. Steam Link was basically unplayable due to lag unfortunately, but Razer Remote Play worked with almost no noticeable latency on my connection. And I've heard this is the case on most connections. Setup is very simple. You download the Razer Nexus app on your phone and the Razer Cortex app on your PC. Link them, then suddenly your phone can access your entire PC library. Not only can you launch Steam games, but you can also launch titles from the Xbox app and other launchers. If something doesn't show up directly, you could just select the desktop mode, navigate to your PC, and launch whatever you want. The process was so quick and easy. Playing RPGs like Cyberpunk changed my perspective on mobile gaming. The fact that I could sit anywhere in my house, stream AAA games to my phone with a nice controller was mind-blowing. Yes, your PC has to stay on, and yes, you need to be on the same network, but it just works so well. I also tested native mobile games like Madden NFL Mobile 26, Genshin Impact, and Diablo Immortal. All were immediately recognized by the controller with no issues. These didn't require the Razer app to function, but you can still launch them through the Nexus if you want to keep everything in one place. As much as I really like the V3 Pro, portability is where it stumbles. The original Kishi collapsed, making it easy to toss in a bag and take on trips. I used it on flights, train rides, and downtown while out of the house. The V3 Pro does not collapse at all, which makes me nervous about throwing it in my backpack. It feels more like a controller you keep at home rather than you want to travel with. For me, this makes it less practical than intended, and I still find myself defaulting to the original when traveling. I think this is a major oversight in the design. So would I recommend the Razer Kishi V3 Pro? Yes. But for a specific type of gamer, the $150 price is steep, but if you already have an extensive PC library and want to extend your gaming to mobile, on your bed, on your couch, wherever you want, it just makes sense. The dual use on both mobile and PC is the biggest win. For players who like to step away from the desk but still want controller gaming, it's just an easy sell. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for someone who wants portability. There are smaller collapsible options better suited for travel. This one shines when used at home, allowing you to shift between PC and mobile with minimal effort seamlessly. Personally though, I love this thing. The comfort, the button feel, the remote play integration, and its surprising PC performance make it an overall standout product. And because of this, Noisy Pixel is giving the Razer Kishi V3 Pro an A, instead of a perfect score. If you mostly play at home, this controller delivers on every front and makes mobile gaming feel like a much bigger deal than before. Thank you for watching. Noisy Pixel is a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all of our future content, and see our Patreon at patreon.com/noisypixel to see our monthly magazine and other benefits that we offer. Thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one, nerds.
Noisy Pixel.